Jefferson Graham, and we are live. And it looks like Roy is here and Chris is here, so thank you very much. Today we are going to talk about getting better photos for Thanksgiving and for Christmas and for New Year's, family photos when everybody gets together. And I've got like 20 examples that I'm going to show and I'm going to talk about. And after that, I've got some selfie tips. And of course, I want to hear what's on everybody's mind today. So we'll be taking questions. But I think first we'll say hi to everybody. And Todd is there. And hi, Todd. Thank you, Todd. And thank you, Roy from Arizona. And thank you, Chris. Any plans for Tucson yet? We better get that going. I had promised by the end of 2023, but it looks more like January or February. So, Chris, I hope you'll wait for me, and I hope we'll get there. And Roy, of course, we were in Prescott together earlier this year, and Todd W. lives in L.A. Maybe we'll see him at the photo walk on Sunday, huh? Anyway, let's jump right in and talk about family photos. Get your questions ready. After I go through the 20 photos, I'd like to take your questions and hear what's on your mind. Let's begin with the window light. Okay, so people will be getting together and a lot of people will take pictures in front of a window thinking it looks really nice out there. But unfortunately, the camera sensor on an iPhone, on a Galaxy, on a Pixel, on your Sony, whatever, they are exposing for the window and not for the person. And unfortunately, they become a shadow. So all you have to do is move them to the other side of the window, okay? And then it's really nice light. They're lit well. Try to do it without the distractions. If you ask me, this is night and day or day and day, whichever way you want to look at it. So window light, softest light there is. And this is example of bad selfie. So everyone will be together. And for you guys listening on the podcast, I put this group shot of everybody that is taken looking up at their necks. So they don't look so great, but a lot of families will do that. They'll take the camera and they'll stick it on the table and they'll just look up at them. And I think we can do a lot better. How about 10 books? Stack 10 books on top of each other, and then maybe put the phone on top of the 10th book at a slight angle so they will be eye level, and everybody is going to look a lot better. You all know about the lineup, right? So the families like to line up and put their arms around each other, and that's fine. Again, at the family photo session on Thursday or whenever, there's generally one person there who says, you know, I don't want to be in your pictures. Well, in that case, put the phone in their hand and let them take the picture. But don't let grandpa hang out in the back of the lineup. A lot of people like to do that, and you know, I like to see everybody's faces, and I have a lot of room to move. And is that the one I wanted to? Yeah. So look what happens when everybody is in a nice line. We can see everybody now, and we're not cramped for space. But I do want to show you this one as well, folks on the radio. People are hiding behind grandpa and grandma, and we can't see their faces, and we want to. Now, that was the good one I wanted to show you. Take lots of photos. When you're doing the family photos, take lots of them because people are always going to close their eyes, and that's just the way it is. I did a family photo shoot 2 weeks ago. I shot 1,500 pictures, and I gave the client 500 of them. Their eyes were closed in about 1,000 of them. Now, I'm exaggerating, but there were a lot. I had to do a lot of deleting. The line that people like to do, line up the family all together, you can do inside as well, but watch out for the lighting because Dad here, who is on the left, is not as well lit as everybody else. And what can we do about that? I'm showing up a little doodad here. I'm holding a little LED light, sells for $100, and I'll put that in the description. But that can go a long way, and I'll talk about how we can attach that to a phone. Next up, please don't use digital zoom. Digital zoom is horrible. I am now showing an example of what happens when you pinch the camera screen all the way and go straight in, hoping that you're going to get a little closer. But all it really is doing is cropping a regular photo and just taking a little section of it, and it looks really poor. So I would say your best zoom is your foot. If you can have time to look around for candid photos, those are always fantastic. And before I go on, let me just say that somebody has to be the boss on Holiday Family Day. Somebody has to be director. Somebody has to be the guy or gal who says, we're now doing family pictures. Whether we're doing family pictures at 3, at 3:30, at 4, at 4:30, you as the director have to be the person in charge to round up everybody, to line them up. Somebody has to do it, and it might as well be you. I'll have more to say about that. Okay, let's talk about height. Okay, generally families, not everybody is the same height, as you can tell in this family. So what do I do about it? I ask Dad to kneel down. I ask dads to kneel all the time. It really helps to see everybody's head on a level. Lets us focus on the faces, I think, a little better. If we can't kneel, we can sit. And it's amazing what happens when Dad is 6 foot and the wife is 5 foot and maybe the daughter is a little shorter. Everybody's the same height. Everybody's the same height when they sit. And whether that be sitting on a couch, sitting in chairs, sitting on the floor, really makes a big difference. And this is another kneeling shot. The youngest daughter, who's 6, I asked everybody to come down to her level. It just makes it a lot of fun, don't you think? So I highly recommend kneeling if the tallest person can handle it. Totem poles. This is a fun little shot when people are different heights. The person who is on the bottom of this totem pole right now is actually the shortest person. Is the tallest person, but I have her sitting, and then the youngest, the 6-year-old, is right behind her, and then Maya, who is, I think, around 10, she is now kneeling down. Makes for a really cute family shot, so I highly recommend totem poles. Again, sitting. Everybody's the same height. Everybody's together. I love to put people together on a bench if I can, if they can fit. And if one person has to sit on the armrest, they do. But it shows a family that's close. And if you could bring a dog in there, that's cute too. Have fun with it. So if they can laugh, that's great. That is my little presentation. I would love to take your questions. What is on everybody's mind? What's Gary have to say? Gary is calling from Virginia Beach. So as I wait for your questions, I'm working on a thing about tips for selfies. And I would love to hear from everybody their tip. Now, no type of photography is done more than selfies, but I think that no type of photography is harder than a selfie. For the number one reason here is our faces are distorted. If I hold the camera here as in right in front of my face, it's not going to look good. I need to move my arm as far as possible away. And that is hard to do. Now, I have longer arms than many people, but it's still a problem. It is still a problem. And I have some solutions here, but let's hear what Roy has to say. Should you use portrait mode or the regular mode? Let me tell you, I did some selfies today in portrait mode, and they're incredible. And I did them just equal time here. I did them on the Galaxy and on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and they look so good and so much better. Basically, it's portrait mode. It blurs the background. It improves the photo. And so let me see. I think Gary's just saying hello. And okay. So my other ideas for selfies, first of all, move the camera as far away from you as possible. Use your arm if you can. And if you can't, there's this little invention called a selfie stick. And I think it was invented for a good reason. It's invented so that you can get a better selfie. So put the camera timer on, which you can do on any phone, set it to 10 seconds, and then hold out the selfie stick and hold it up as far away from your face as you can. And with that 10 seconds, you will have time to get the better photo. And you could do it horizontal, you can do it vertical. Either way, take lots of photos to get it right. I talked about using the timer, using the selfie stick, moving the camera away. Good lighting will make a big difference. Like right now, I think I have pretty good lighting here. This direction, not as good. But obviously I have the lights on, but a lot of people won't have the lights. I just did one inside the house. I can't show it to you right now, but I did one away from the light and one in front of the light, and made a big difference. Avoid distractions. I want to see your face. I don't want to see things coming out. My favorite one is the tree. When you're standing outside and you're doing a selfie in front of a tree, and then the tree is coming out of your ears or your head. So that's terrible. Avoid distractions at all costs. Have your face at a slight angle. Have it go up. I like eye level. Obviously, I don't want to have it down here. I do not want to have my selfie down here. Slight angle is going to help us with our chins. Face the camera. Who out there knows where the selfie camera is? Okay. Who knows? Well, it's right up here. And I think our inclination is to take a selfie like this when we really should be doing this. And for your folks on the radio, I'm looking straight ahead of the camera at the phone when I should actually be looking up. That's where the selfie camera is. I talked about portrait selfies. Definitely do portrait selfies. And everybody loves the shot with their arm in it. It kind of drives me crazy. But if you do vertical, you're going to lose your arm. Horizontal, you will definitely have it in there. Todd, what about using burst mode and the live photo option? Well, you can do burst mode, but if your camera is too close to your face, it's still going to be distorted. So that's something to think about. And live photos gives you 3 seconds of video. I don't know that it's really going to help. Burst mode, you could pick out the best shot. It's kind of awkward though. I guess you could do burst mode holding your finger down. Yeah. I'll give it a try because I am working on this. I'm going to make a video about it. I'm going to write an article about it too. So that is a really good question, and I'm going to give it a try. Question from Roy, who says, any additional ideas for group shots outside, even if it's in the middle of the day, because some people have to go home? Okay, so first of all, Roy's going to take the pictures at the worst time of the day when the light is at its worst, right? So the best friend you have is shade. Best friend you have is let's say you go to a park, you go for the shade, you find some shade outside, you shoot right in front of the house. Usually I can find shade directly in front of the door. That's kind of a nice shot. Anywhere where there's shade is going to really help a lot. If you have a tripod, I definitely would put it on the tripod and do the timer for that and take 10, 20, 30, 40 shots for that. As many as you can, as long as the people will be able to stand it. And I would not do direct sunlight because everybody looks pretty poor in direct sunlight. If you can, Roy, I would try to bunch people together to get them in the frame. Obviously, sitting down would be really good. That's going to make it a lot easier. And then, of course, there's always the drone shot, right? So we could always do a drone selfie. Where is everybody? How many people will people be having to come over for the weekend? For Thursday. Are we talking 4, 8, 12? How big will your gathering be? I'm just doing 4, and so that's going to be pretty easy. No grandkids, or my son will not be there either. Just my mom and her partner and my wife and I. So we will do the usual family portraits. I usually take them into the garage and do them in front of a backdrop because that's me. But let's see, what does Todd have to say? Todd says he didn't mean selfie, but for shooting family candids to use burst mode. Yes, 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 yes. Sneaking the shot. Definitely use burst mode. And then the tip there is that burst mode will take, I've gotten as many as 100. Okay, so you can get 100 photos, though you don't need 100 photos unless you're shooting a baby. And I'll tell you the baby story in a minute. But if you do burst mode, go into edit, then find the select button, and then underneath there will have all the shots, and you'll see them all, and you can select which one you want, because Apple will do their selection, and sometimes it's not right. Sometimes it's not the one you want. So definitely do burst mode for candids. Get as many candids as you want. Just don't do them when people are eating, because that's not the best shot in the world. My baby story is that I got asked to do a baby portrait, and I got there to the shoot. The baby took one look at me and started howling, screaming. It was terrible. And then I walked away. Then I came back, and she screamed some more. And I thought I was toast. I didn't know what to do. And finally, I just went into burst mode, and I shot 1,500 pictures. And I'm not exaggerating. I really did shoot 15. And out of that 1,500, one smile. And that's what I gave to the client. So what else is going on? I know that Roy just got himself the Smart Rig cage, which I recently bought the new one as well. So I now have two of them. Roy, what are you thinking about the cage and how are you going to use it? It sells for $50 on Amazon. Pretty good price. The nice thing about it is that you can stick your phone in there, and then it has two cold shoes, so you can put lights and cameras up there. And I was using it the other day, and I found it to be incredibly steady on a shoot. Roy, how close do you get to the group? Yes, you want to get everyone in, but is it better to pack off? Roy, how many people are we talking about? Okay, so are we talking about 12? If it's 12 people, you're going to stand far enough away to get them in the frame. If it's 2 people, you're going to get closer to them. But the great news is if we're shooting on the phone, we have 4 different focal lengths. Or if we're shooting on the iPhone 15 or whatever recent model phone, we have multiple focal lengths. We have ultra wide, which is capable of distorting a group shot. We have wide, which is better. We have medium telephoto, and then we have telephoto. And you know my rule of photography is do it all. Try every last one of them and see which one will be best. If it is an extremely large group, I would rather see you step back further and use the wide angle lens than get closer and use the ultra wide lens, because they will be distorted. There are ways you could fix that in Lightroom, but better to get the shot right in the camera. Who do we have here? Paul and Susan Moore. We always do 1 or 2 serious and then 1 with funny faces. That's a good one. And then 1 for breaking the ice is to go on burst mode and say, hey, would you do me a favor and do 30 funny faces in 3 seconds? And out of that funny faces cycle, you will get a really good smile, because you're going to, and it has worked for me time and time again. And the great thing is we have burst mode on the phones, so it's an easy thing to do. Roy, how large will your group be? Okay, here he is. Roy says the cage on his 14 Pro Max works on his 15 Pro Max. Yeah, I got the new cage because my old cage for the 14 was a vignetting in ultra wide. For my 14, so I upgraded to the 15. It is a lot larger though. And I walked into a store with it. I'm working on a photo walk episode about Seal Beach, California, the smallest coastal city in the Southern California coast. And I walked in, and this lady said, "Oh, that's some camera you got there." And I said, "It's just an iPhone with a cage around it. That's it." But it looks impressive, and it will throw people off. If you want to be discreet, I wouldn't recommend the cage. But I was able to go down the street hand holding it, and it was pretty smooth. Todd says, a couple of years ago, I set up the phone on a mini tripod in the kitchen and let it go for about an hour during the Thanksgiving dinner preparation. It was a fun video to have and priceless. And I think that's great that you did that. Time lapses are always good. You know, that's what I do with the with my selfie stick, which is a mini tripod, 4-foot tripod, $25, Insta360, et cetera, et cetera. And I think anything from family memories is priceless. You know, we also talk about interviews. If you want to talk about interviews, I'd be happy to talk about that. I'm big on it. And I like to do an interview with the family members every year. Let me get to Todd's other question. Todd set it up for time lapse. Fantastic. You know, my experience with time lapse is probably that I just did a 1 hour, actually a 10-day time lapse of Manhattan Beach, and the day turning into night and the night turning back to day. And I found out that you couldn't go longer than 30-second video, no matter how long you recorded on the iPhone. But in this case, for a 30-minute video, that would be 30 seconds. I think it's okay. And I think I'd also recommend, if you're going to do that this year, get some multiple angles on the Thanksgiving prep. You know, get in tight for the cranberries and for the turkey. Might be fun to alter it up a bit. What was I going to tell you about? So thank you for that question, Todd. How's everybody doing with Black Friday? Do we care? Are we shopping? It is early. I think we're supposed to find out what the deals really will be tomorrow. I know we have Apple enthusiasts here, and Apple always has a very minor sale, but it's the only sale of the year. Apple never, ever discounts except for Black Friday and the weekend. And my experience has been usually a $25 gift certificate, big whoop. But, you know, if you're buying a computer and you're going to get it, or you're going to buy an iPhone, you're going to buy something of value, I'll take the $25. I'll take the gift certificate. And it might be more. They haven't announced what they'll be. So I'm the sort of person that if I want something, I buy it and I don't wait. But I think that everybody we like is having a sale. I don't think you're going to get the $25 selfie stick on sale, but you never know. Amazon will be discounting pretty much everything that they make. But is there anybody who needs an Echo speaker? I certainly don't. I have them and I love them. And I actually used the Echo speakers for audio from my TV. I use them instead of a sound bar, and it's fantastic. So 2 Echo speakers works really well. What's everybody want to buy? Let's hear from you. The other thing I didn't mention for selfies, how about a nice light? This could go a long way. So many people will take selfies in the dark or in dark situations or at parties, and a little light will go a long way. And you say, well, how am I going to get the light on top of my phone? That's why we buy the cages. Or just the basic smartphone tripod mount. For this light, I had to get, I don't know how to describe this, what's in my hand, but it's a little thing that it's a hot shoe, and it connects to the bottom of the light, and then it will attach to the top of either your cold shoe or something like that. So that helps out. From Roy. If little children in the group, maybe even babies, I guess burst mode might work the best. Any other ideas? I've seen a lot of people with stuffed animals and somebody up there singing and saying, oh, look at the little baby, you know, and really talking to the baby. It's not my thing, but it's one reason I don't do baby pictures if I can help it. But that's what a lot of people will do. And try your best. Just shoot, 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 shoot. It's hit and miss. And I also think that most people will understand that the baby doesn't want to look, but you never know. Maybe the baby will look, and maybe if you just keep on shooting, like I did with the 1,500 pictures of the baby, you will get some help there. So for this weekend on PhotowalksTV, I'm doing an episode about mistakes that I made as a travel photographer and things that I learned. And that's coming up on Saturday. And for next week, I'm doing travel photography versus snapshot photography, and how to how to really go to the next level when you're doing your travel photos. So I shot that in Seal Beach, California, which is the smallest little coastal city, the Mayberry of the beach. And I did a companion photo walk episode of that. That's coming up, and then I'm going to San Francisco the week from Sunday, where it's been a lot of bad news from San Francisco. They had another camera theft there last weekend, and I'm going to be going to all the tourist spots with a phone in my hand, and I'm going to see if I run into any trouble, and hopefully don't see drug addicts lying on the street, and hopefully get to capture the beauty of San Francisco. That's what's coming up. I think that's going to be a wrap for today, unless anybody has any other questions. Let's see your photos. Let's see the family photos that you're going to take on next week. I'd love to see them. You could share them at the iPhone photo team. You could email them to me. You could put, let's see, how else we could do. Yeah, I'd say go put them on the iPhone photo team is probably the best idea. And let's talk about them. Or the other thing, let's do this. Email them to me and to jeffersongraham@gmail.com. And then we'll do a live the day after Thanksgiving. How's that? And then we will share them together. I think that's probably the best idea. What do you guys think about that? Roy has a question. Should a light be used in a living room for a group shot, or put on lights and/or lamps and other lights in the room? Yes. Do you have lighting? If you don't have lighting, one of these little babies isn't going to go very far. This is good for like one person, maybe two. Invest in some lights, but if you can do daylight, do the window light. I would recommend if you can swing it, or put them on the front step. You live in Arizona, so that shouldn't be too hard. Or at least arrange your family shoot, if you can, to be before 5 o'clock. Right now in California, the sun goes down at 5. So let's see. Ooh, we have a question from Clan Hill. As my brothers and sisters are getting older, the holiday pictures I take of them mean more to me. Yes, I agree. I'm paying more attention to how I take my photos at these times. Very important. I just did a family. You saw them in the photos that I showed earlier, but I've been taking their family photo every year since 2009. And I've watched their daughter grow up from 2 and she's now 17. And I love it. I love the fact that I've been able to document it every year. Some people like to show off their school photo, year after the year, which is also cool. It's just, you don't know when you're going to have all the family together. And so the other tip I have, Roy, which I hope you'll take, is get a single of every person and get a combo of every person. So let's say, Roy, that you have 2 sisters and a brother. Roy, take a picture of you and your brother, you and your sister, your sister and your brother, et cetera, et cetera. Get them all. It's really important because it is. And that's my treatise on family photos. Todd, I've been considered the Insta360 camera tripod, but it seems that I would miss a Bluetooth trigger for the shots. Do you miss this feature? No, it's a selfie stick for me that I hold to get steadier video shots. And I use the 4-foot tripod for so many things. When I did my shoot in Seal Beach this week, I put it on the floor and I wanted a shot of me walking into a hardware shop. So I put it on the ground, I press record, and I got it. And that's what I use it for. The Bluetooth trigger is easy. It's called a timer. You could use the timer instead, and it gives you more time to set up your photo. And again, it's $25. So, if you could find me a selfie stick with a tripod attachment, I'll buy it. So let's put our heads together. Black Friday, Todd, you and me. Let's find it, because I'll give it a try. But so far, I've never seen a selfie stick with a tripod mount. I did get something new, just came in. Are you familiar with Platypod? Platypod is the little tripod for when you want to go down on the ground, and you could hang it on things. And I was testing some selfies just by holding this up. And that was pretty good, but they didn't do it for the selfie. But they just came out with an iPhone mount for the Platypod, and that's kind of fun. What do you think about next Friday? And sharing photos and taking a look at them right here on Photowalks TV Live. So send me your pictures, Jefferson Graham at Gmail, PhotowalksTV at Gmail, whatever. Look for me on Facebook. You'll find me there, jefferson.graham. You know me on YouTube. That's going to be a wrap for today. It's been fun talking to you. I hope you all have a great holiday. I hope you have great family photos, and I can't wait to see them. Bye-bye.